A stomach for big helpings of fortune. The body of prudence should have a big gullet. A great talent is made up of great parts. If you deserve the best luck, don't eat your fill of good luck. What is sure fit to some is hunger to others. Some people waste exquisite food because they have no stomach for it. They weren't born for and aren't accustomed to high occupations. Their relations with others turn to vinegar, and a false sense of honor clouds their head and makes them lose it. They grow dizzy in high places and are beside themselves because there is no room in them for luck. Let the great person show that he still has room for better things, and carefully avoid all that would show a narrow heart. To each the dignity that befits him. Not everyone is a king, but your deeds should be worthy of one, within the limits of your class and condition. A regal way of doing things, sublimity of action, a lofty mind. You should resemble a king in merit, if not in reality. For true sovereignty lies in integrity. You won't envy greatness if you yourself can be a norm of greatness. Especially those who are near the throne should acquire something of true superiority. They should share the moral gifts of majesty rather than the pomp, and aspire to things lofty and substantial rather than to imperfect vanity. Have a good sense of what each job requires. Jobs vary, and it takes knowledge and discernment to understand the variety. Some jobs take courage, others subtlety. The easiest ones are those that depend on honesty, the most difficult those that require artifice. The former require only natural talent, the latter, all sorts of attentiveness and vigilance. It is much work to govern men, and even more, fools, madmen. It takes double intelligence to rule those who have none. The job that is unbearable is the one that takes over the whole person, working full time always in the same manner. Far better are the jobs we don't grow bored with, where variety combines with importance and refreshes our taste. The jobs most respected are the ones that entail the most or least dependence, and the worst are those that make us sweat the hardest, both here and even harder in the hereafter. Bull rush, power rush.
Super rush.
What'd you say? Don't be tiresome. Don't have only one theme, one obsession. Brevity is pleasant and flattering, and it gets more done. It gains in courtesy what it loses in curtness. Good things, if brief, twice good. Badness, if short, isn't so bad. Quintessences work better than farragos. Everyone knows that a tall person is rarely an intelligent one, but it's better to be tall in stature than long in conversation. Some people are better at disturbing than adorning the universe. Useless trinkets shunned by all. The discreet person should avoid tiring others, especially the great, who are very busy. It would be worse to irritate one of them than the rest of the world. Well said is quickly said. Don't flaunt your good fortune. It is more offensive to take excessive pride in your high office than in yourself. Don't play the great man. It is odious. And don't be proud of being envied. The more strenuously you seek esteem from others, the less of it you will have. It depends on respect. You can't simply grab it. You have to deserve it and wait for it. Important occupations call for a certain gravity and decorum. Keep only what the occupation requires, what you need to fulfill your obligations. Don't squeeze it dry. Help it along. Those who want to look like hard workers give the impression that they aren't up to their jobs. If you want to succeed, do so using your gifts, not your outer trappings. Even a king ought to be venerated more because of his person than because of his pomp and circumstance. Don't look self-satisfied. Don't go through life feeling discontent with yourself, which is timidity, or satisfied, which is foolishness. Self-complacency usually arises from ignorance, and it leads to a foolish happiness that tickles the taste but ruins the reputation. Unable to discern the high perfection of others, it is content with its own vulgar mediocrity. Caution is always useful, either to help things turn out well or to console us when they turn out badly. No setback will surprise you if you fear it beforehand. Homer himself nodded at times, and Alexander tumbled from his estate and from the deceit in which he was living. Things depend on circumstance. Sometimes they prevail, sometimes fail. For a hopeless fool, however, the emptiest satisfaction turns into a flower that goes on scattering its seed. A shortcut to becoming a true person. Put the right people beside you. The company you keep can work wonders. Customs and tastes and even intelligence are transmitted without our being aware of it. Let the quick person join the hesitant one, and so on through every sort of temperament. That way you will achieve moderation without straining after it. It takes much skill to know how to adapt yourself. The alternation of opposites makes the universe beautiful and sustains it. It causes even greater harmony in human customs than in nature. Govern yourself by this advice when you select your friends and servants. The communication of extremes will produce a discreet and golden mean. Don't berate others. There are people with savage tempers who make everything a crime. Not out of passion, but because of their very character. They condemn everyone. Some for what they've done, others for what they will do. This shows a spirit worse than cruel, which is truly vile. They criticize others so exaggeratedly that they make motes into beams in order to poke out eyes. They are taskmasters who can turn a paradise into a prison. When swayed by passion, they take everything to extremes. Good-natured people are able to pardon anything. They insist that others had good intentions or went wrong inadvertently. Don't wait to be a setting sun. It is a maxim of prudent people to abandon things before being abandoned by them. You should make even your end into a triumph. At times the sun itself retires behind a cloud, so that no one will see it fall, and it leaves us wondering whether it has set or not. Avoid sunsets so as not to burst with misfortune. Don't wait for people to turn their shoulders on you. They will bury you alive to your regret, dead or renown. Prudent know when to retire a racehorse, and do not wait for him to collapse in the middle of the race. To the laughter of all, let beauty shatter the mirror cleverly, at the right time and not too late when she cannot bear the truth. Have friends. They are a second being to a friend. All friends are good and wise when you are with them, all turns out well. You are worth as much as others want you to be and say you are, and the way to their mouths lies through their hearts. Nothing bewitches like service to others. The best way to win friends is to act like one. The most and best we have depends on others. You must live either with friends or with enemies. Win one each day, if not as a confidant, at least as a follower. Choose well, and some will remain whom you can trust. Win the goodwill of others, even the first and highest cause. Subnote the divinity. In the most important matters does things this way. Reputation is purchased with affection. Some trust so much in their own worth that they make light of diligence. But the prudent person knows very well that merit can take a short cut if helped by favor. Benevolence makes everything easier and compensates for whatever is lacking. Courage, integrity, wisdom, and even discretion. Never sees ugliness, for it doesn't want to. It is usually born from similarity of temperament, race, family, country, or occupation. In the spiritual realm, benevolence bestows talent, favor, reputation, and merit. Once one wins it, this is difficult. It is easily kept. You can make an effort to win it, but you must also know how to use it. Plan for bad fortune while your fortune is good. In the summer, it is wise to provide for winter. It is easier to do so. Favors are less expensive, and friendships abound. It is good to save up for a rainy day. Adversity is expensive, and all is lacking. Keep a following of friends and grateful people. Someday you will value what now seems unimportant. Villainy has no friends in prosperity because it refuses to recognize them. In adversity, it is the other way around. Never compete. When you vie with your opponent, your reputation suffers. Your competitor will immediately try to find your faults and discredit you. Few wage war fairly. Rivalry discovers the defects that courtesy overlooks. Many people had a good reputation until they acquired rivals. The heat of opposition revives dead infamies and digs up the stench of the past. Competition begins by revealing faults. Rivals take advantage of everything they can and all they ought not to. Often they gain nothing by offending others, only the vile satisfaction of revenge. Revenge blows the dust of oblivion from people's faults. Benevolence was always peaceable, and reputation indulgent.
You trace the lines on a page that's worn and bent, marginalia from another time, little notes of what they meant, coffee stains on chapter 10. You say someone cried right here, all these quiet folded corners holding. Teach me the wisdom of books, but the intelligence of love. Reach between the lines where the ink gives up. You say the brightest minds still have so much to learn. So turn that fragile page and let my stubborn heart turn with you. Oh, with you. You quote a line about patience, about grace. Then you stop and start to smile with that softness in your face. You can memorize the theories, still not know a wounded soul. Then you press your thumb to mine, and it feels like coming home. Teach me the wisdom of books, but the intelligence of love, where apology is gentle and forgiveness is love. You say the bravest hearts are the first ones to return. So turn that fragile page
he wasn't. He hadn't even got to the windows just yet. Wasn't just there yet, right? The nigga OG Mac will come with, bitch, you guessed it, right after Tuesday. I recorded.
You trace the lines on a page that's worn and bent, marginalia from another time, little notes of what they meant. Coffee stains on chapter 10. You say someone cried right here. All these quiet, folded corners hold the years. Teach me the wisdom of books, the intelligence of love. Reads between the lines where the ink gives up. You say the brightest minds still have so much to learn. So turn that fragile page and let my stubborn heart turn with you. Oh, with you. You quote a line about patience, about grace. Then you stop and start to smile with that softness in your face. You can memorize the theory, still not know its soul. Then you press your thumb to mine, and it feels like coming home. Teach me the wisdom of books, the intelligence of love. Okay, welcome back. We're going to switch up books from Baltasar Gracian, The Art of Worldly Wisdom. We're going to move on to working on Eliphas Levi's Secret Keys book, Secret Wisdom of Eliphas Levi, Kabbalah, Jesus Christ. Number 19. It is the number of light. It is the existence of God proved by the very idea of God. Either one must say that being is the universal tomb where, by an automatic movement, stirs a form forever dead and corpse-like, or one must admit the absolute principle of intelligence and of life. Is the universal light dead or alive? It is vowed fatally to the work of destruction, or providentially directed to an immortal birth. If there be no God, intelligence is only a deception, for it fails to be the absolute, and its ideal is a lie. Without God, being is a nothingness firming itself, life a death in disguise, and light a night forever deceived by the mirage of dreams. The first and most essential act of faith is then this: being exists, and the being of beings, the truth of being, is God. Being is alive with intelligence, and the living intelligence of absolute being is God. Light is real and life-giving. Now, the reality and life of all light is God. The word of universal reason is an affirmation and not a negation. How blind are they who do not see that physical light is nothing but the instrument of thought?
Thought alone then reveals light and creates it in using it for its own purposes. The affirmation of atheism is the dogma of eternal night. The affirmation of God is the dogma of light. We stop here at the number 19. Although the sacred alphabet has 22 letters, but the first 19 are the keys of occult theology. The others are the keys of nature. We shall return to them in the third part of this work. Let us resume what we have said concerning God by quoting a fine invocation borrowed from the Jewish liturgy. It is a page from the Kabbalistic poem Kether Malkuth by Rabbi Solomon, son of Gabarol. Thou art one, the beginning of all numbers, and the foundation of all buildings. Thou art one, and in the secret of thy unity the most wise of men are lost, because they know it not. Thou art one, and thy unity neither wanes nor waxes, neither suffers any change. Thou art one, and yet not the one of the mathematician. For thy unity admits neither multiplication, nor change, nor form. Thou art one, and not one of mine. Imaginations can fix a limit for thee, or give a definition of thee. Therefore I will take heed to my ways, lest I offend with my tongue. Thou art one indeed, whose excellence is so lofty, that it may in no wise fall, by no means like that one which may cease to be. Thou art the existing one. Nevertheless, the understanding and the sight of mortals cannot attain thine existence, nor place in thee the where, the how, the why. Thou art the existing one, but in thyself, since no other can exist beside thee. Thou art the existing one, before time and beyond space. Thou art indeed the existing one, and thine existence is so hidden and so deep that none can discover it or penetrate its secret. Thou art the living one, but not in fixed and known time. Thou art the living one, but not by spirit or by soul, for thou art the soul of all souls. Thou art the living one, but not living with the life of mortals, that is like breath, and whose end is to give food to worms. Thou art the living one, and he that can attain thy mysteries will enjoy eternal delight and live forever. Thou art great. Before thy greatness all other greatness bows, and all that is most excellent becomes imperfect. Thou art great above all imagination, and thou art exalted above all the hierarchies of heaven. Thou art great above all greatness, and thou art exalted above all praise. Thou art strong, and not one among thy creatures can do the works that thou dost, nor can his force be compared with thine. Thou art strong, and it is to thee that belongs that strength invincible, which changes not and decays never. Thou art strong by thy loving kindness. Thou dost forgive in the moment of thy most burning wrath, and thou showest thyself long-suffering to sinners. Thou art strong, and thy mercies long-suffering to sinners. Thou art strong, and thy mercies, existing from all time, are upon all thy creatures. Thou art the eternal light, that pure souls shall see, and that the cloud of sins will hide from the eyes of sinners. Thou art the light which is hidden in this world and visible in the other, where the glory of the Lord is shone forth. Thou art sovereign, and the eyes of understanding which desire to see thee are all amazed, for they can attain but part of it, never the whole.
And forgiveness is love. You say the bravest hearts are the first ones to return. So turn that fragile page and let my restless heart learn from you. You close the cover, hold it to your chest. Say all of this is paper till we put it to the test. So I stumble through my sentences. You just take my hand instead. Understanding isn't spoken, it's how you're hearing what's unsaid. Teach me the wisdom of books and the intelligence of love. All the underlying mistakes we can rise above. I need every answer, just a place where I can grow. So turn another page and let our open heart show that we're the story being wrote. We're the story being wrote. I drew maps on the backs of receipts, tiny plans in the dark of a cheap backseat. Taught myself how to fail with my teeth clenched tight, how to stare down every locked door like it owed me life. This is the wisdom of success. Blueprints in my blood. Not love in every scar, a secret test. Every no, a loaded thread. I'm gonna learn, reach out of pressure. Turn all that friction into flow. This is the wisdom of success. I never did what I was told. I learned fast from the cracks in my own design. Sharp turns where I almost crossed the line. Wrote truth on the walls of an empty room. If they won't open up a space for you, you carve your own through the stone and fumes. This is the wisdom of success. Blueprints in my blood. Every scar, secret test. Every note, a loaded slug. Got the language of pressure. Turn on like friction into gold. This is the wisdom of success. Never did what I was told. Genius. Just 1,000 tiny edits. Midnight questions. Wrestling with habits. I keep my doubts like tools on a metal rack. They cut deep, but they keep me sharp. Keep me coming back. This is the wisdom of success. Blueprints in my blood. I love every scar, secret test. Every note, a loaded drug. I build a language out of pressure. Turn all that friction into gold. This is the wisdom of success. I never did what I was told. I drew maps on the backs of receipts, tiny plans in the dark of a cheap backseat. Taught myself how to fail with my teeth clenched tight, how to stare down every locked door like it owed me light. This is the wisdom of success. Blueprints in my blood. Not luck. Every scar a secret test. Every no a loaded drug. I built a language out of pressure. Turn all the friction into gold. This is the wisdom of success. I never did what I was told. I learned fast from the cracks in my own design. Sharp turns where I almost crossed the line. Wrote truths on the walls of an empty room. If they won't open up a space for you, you carve your own through the stone and fume. This is the wisdom of success. Blueprints in my blood. Not luck. Every scar a secret test. Every no a loaded drug. I built a language out of pressure. Turn all the pieces into gold. This is the wisdom of success. I never did what I was told. It's just 1,000 tiny edits. Midnight question. Wrestling with habits. I keep my doubts like tools on a metal rack. They cut deep, but they keep me sharp, keep me coming back. Oh. Deep in, slow out, hands still, heart loud. Warm water on my shoulders, thoughts floating to the rim. Candle flicker on the tiles, time loosens at the brim. Close eyes, count the exhales, let every shadow feel thin. One breath and another, I soften in my own skin. Breathe in, let it all go, sink down. Let the heat flow, steam on my skin. I'm opening every little worry, loosening, breathe out. Let the heart slow, nothing you have to control. Steam on my skin, I'm opening in this quiet ceremony. I begin. Cool air on my wet lashes, echoes faint against the wall. Neon numbers on the clock face melt until they barely crawl. Whisper mantras in a half voice, just enough for me to hear. One breath and another, I'm rinsing off the fear. Breathe in, let it all go, sink down. Let the heat flow, steam on my skin. I'm opening every little worry, loosening, breathe out. Let the heart slow, nothing you have to control. Steam on my skin. I'm opening in this quiet ceremony. I begin, yeah. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, nothing left to prove. Just a gentle move. In, 2, 3, out. Set free, I become water. Water becomes me. Breathe in, let it all go, sink down. Let the heat flow, stay on my skin. Every little worry, loosening, breathe out. Let the heart slow, nothing you have to control. Stay on my skin. In this quiet ceremony, I begin, breathe. Breathe in, let it all go. Sink down, let the heat flow. Steam on my skin, I'm opening every little worry, loosening. Breathe out, let the heart slow. Nothing you have to control. Steam on my skin, I'm opening this quiet ceremony. I begin. Cool air on my wet lashes, echoes fade against the wall. Neon numbers on the clock face, melt until they barely crawl. Whisper mantras in a half voice, just enough for me to hear. One breath, then another, I'm rinsing off the fear. Breathing, let it go. Sink down, let the sheet flow. Skin on the skin, I'm opening every little worry, loosening. Breathe out, let the heart slow. Nothing you have to control. Skin on skin, I'm opening this quiet ceremony. I begin. In, two, three, out, two, three. Nothing left to prove. Just a gentle move. A minute, two, three, out, set free. I become water becomes me. Breathe in, let it all go. Sink down, let the heat flow. Steam on my skin, I'm opening every little worry, loosening. Breathe out, let the heart slow. Nothing you have to control. Steam on my skin, I'm opening this quiet ceremony. I begin.
Okay, we're reading from Eliphas Levi. This divine will has hollowed, designed, purified, and molded. It has ordered nothingness to open itself, being to shut up, and the world to spread itself. It has spanned the heavens and assembled with its power the tabernacle of the spheres. With the cords of its might, it has bound the curtains of the creatures of the universe, and touching with its strength the edge of the curtain of creation, has joined that which is above to that which was below. We have given to these bold Kabbalistic speculations the only form which suits them, that is, poesy, or the inspiration of the heart. Believing souls will have no need of the rational hypotheses contained in this new explanation of the figures of the Bible, but those sincere hearts, afflicted by doubt, which are tortured by 18th century criticism, will understand in reading it that even reason without faith can find in the Holy Book something besides stumbling blocks. If the veils with which the divine text is covered throw a great shadow, this shadow is so marvelously designed by the interplay of light that it becomes the sole intelligible image of the divine ideal. Ideal, incomprehensible as infinity, and indispensable as the very essence of mystery. Somebody messaged me that I know was like, "What's up with all the profiles, John?" I'm like, "Oh, it's called art. What'd you think you were doing on all the social media platforms?" Thou art the God of gods, and all thy creatures bear witness to it. And in honor of this great name, they owe thee all the worship. Thou art God, and all created beings are thy servants and thy worshippers. Thy glory is not tarnished, although men worship other gods, because their intention is to address themselves to thee. They are like blind men who wish to follow the straight road but stray. One falls into a well, the other into a ditch. All think that they are come to their desire, yet they have wearied themselves in vain. But thy servants are like men of clear sight, traveling upon the high road. Never do they stray from it, either to the right hand or the left, till they are entered into the court of the king's palace. Thou art God, who by thy Godhead sustainest all beings, and by thy unity dost bring home all creatures. Thou art God, and there is no difference between thy deity, thy unity, thy eternity, and thy existence, for all is one and the same mystery. Although names vary, all returns to the same truth. Thou art the knower, that intelligence which is the source of life emanates from thyself, and beside thy knowledge all the wisest men are fools. Thou art the knower, and the ancient of the ancient ones, and knowledge has ever fed from thee. Thou art the knower, and thou hast learned thy knowledge from none, nor hast acquired it but from thyself. Thou art the knower, and like a workman and an architect, thou hast taken from thy knowledge a divine will, at an appointed time to draw a being from nothing, so that the light which falls from the eyes is drawn from its own center, without any instrument or tool. This divine will has hollowed, designed, purified, and molded. It has ordered nothingness to open itself, being to shut up, and the world to spread itself. It has spanned the heavens and assembled with its power the tabernacle of the spheres. With the cords of its might, it has bound the curtains of the creatures of the universe, and touching with its strength the edge of the curtain of creation, has joined that which is above to that which is below. What up, Danny? I was just reading an interesting prayer, a Kabbalistic prayer. Very interesting. Okay, this is Article 2, Solution of the Second Problem. True religion. Religion exists in humanity like love. Like it, it is unique. Like it either exists or does not exist in such and such a soul. But whether one accepts it or denies it, it is in humanity. It is then in life. It is in nature itself. It is an incontestable fact of science and even of reason. True religion is that which has always existed, which exists today and will exist forever. One may say that religion is this or that. Religion is what it is. This is the true religion, and the false religions are superstitions imitated from her, borrowed from her lying shadows of herself. One may say of religion what one says of true art. Savage attempts at painting or sculpture are the attempts of ignorance to arrive at the truth. Art proves itself by itself, is radiant with its own splendor, is unique and eternal like beauty. The true religion is beautiful, and it is by that divine character that it imposes itself on the respect of science and obtains the assent of reason. Science dare not affirm or deny those dogmatic hypotheses which are truths for faith, but it must recognize by unmistakable characters the one true religion, that is to say, that which alone merits the name of religion, in that it unites all the characters which agree with that great and universal aspiration of the human soul. One only thing, which is to all most evidently divine, is manifested in the world. It is charity. The work of true religion should be to produce, to preserve, and to spread abroad the spirit of charity. To arrive at this end, she must herself possess all the characteristics of charity in such a manner that one could define her satisfactorily in naming her organic charity. Now, what are the characteristics of charity? It is St. Paul who will tell us. Charity is patient. Patient like God, because it is eternal as He is. It suffers persecutions, never persecutes others. It is kindly and loving, calling to itself the little and not repulsing the great. It is without jealousy. Of whom and of what should it be jealous? Is it not that better part which shall not be taken away from it? It is neither quarrelsome nor intriguing. It is without pride, without ambition, without selfishness, without anger. It never thinks evil, never triumphs by injustice, for all its joy is comprehended in truth. It endures everything without ever tolerating evil. It believes all. Its faith is simple, submissive, hierarchical, and universal. It sustains all and never imposes burdens which it is not itself the first to carry. Religion is patient, the religion of great thinkers and of martyrs. It is benevolent, like Christ and the apostles, like Vincent de Paul like Fenelon. It envies not either the dignities or the goods of the earth. It is the religion of the fathers of the desert, of St. Francis and of St. Bruno, of the Sisters of Charity and of the brothers of St. Jean de Dieu. It is neither quarrelsome nor intriguing. It prays, does good, and waits. It is humble, it is sweet-tempered, it inspires only devotion and sacrifice. It has, in short, all the characteristics of charity, because it is charity itself. Men, on the contrary, are impatient, persecutors, jealous, cruel, ambitious, unjust, and they show themselves as such, even in the name of that religion which they have succeeded in calumniating, but which they will never cause to lie. Men pass away, but truth is eternal. Daughter of charity and creator of charity, in her own turn, true religion is essentially that which realizes. She believes in the miracles of faith because she herself accomplishes them every day when she practices charity. Now, a religion which practices charity may flatter herself that she realizes all the dreams of divine love. Moreover, the faith of the hierarchical church transforms mysticism into realism by the efficacy of her sacraments. No more signs, no more figures whose strength is not in grace, and which do not really give what they promise. Faith animates all, makes all in some sort visible and palpable. Even the parables of Jesus Christ take a body and a soul. They show at Jerusalem the house of the wicked rich man, the thin symbolisms of the primitive religions overturned by science and deprived of the life of faith, resemble those whitened bones which covered the field that Ezekiel saw in his vision. The Spirit of the Savior, the Spirit of faith, the Spirit of charity has breathed upon this dust, and all that which was dead has taken life again. So really that one recognizes no more yesterday's corpses in these living creatures of today. And why should one recognize them? Since the world is renewed, since St. Paul burned at Ephesus the books of the Hierophants, was then St. Paul a barbarian? And was he committing a crime against science? No, but he burned the winding sheets of the resuscitated that they might forget death. Why then do we today recall the Kabbalistic origins of dogma? Why do we join again the figures of the Bible to the allegories of Hermes? It is to condemn St. Paul. Is it to bring doubt to believers? No. Indeed, for believers have no need of our book. They will not read it, and they will not wish to understand it. But we wish to show to the innumerable crowd of those who doubt that faith is attached to the reason of all the centuries, to the science of all the sages. We wish to force human liberty to respect divine authority, reason to recognize the basis of faith, so that faith and authority in their turn may never again prescribe liberty and reason. You rush to raise your flag, still shaking in your